soaked in folds of midnight water, side by side, we sons and daughters, we set forth for no king's orders, but we'll sail together.
Welcome back, everybody. This is part 13 of A Pirate's Black Heart. I'm here with the co author, Ipsy. Say hello, Ipsy.
Hello.
And we are going to talk about the recent updates that have happened to the story and all the tragedy and drama that's come with it. We are using a different format this time. I'm not going to have a whole list of questions uh, to go with my interview this time. We're just going to kind of wing it and see how that goes and see if it's a better format. If it's not, we'll go back to the questioning and that's how that'll be. So, when we last left off, we had just finished talking about the kicking. Betsy had been impregnated by Crowley and his men, and she took it upon herself to have her kicked so that she would have a forced abortion. Right?
That that is very true.
And that led
And she
to
wasn't kicked just by anyone though. It was Wilcox.
right, and that led to an entire onslaught of drama that took place. Right, we had Wilcox was taken. The captain was going to drag
Neil
him
Hall him.
underneath the ship, back and forth. Uh,
Neil Hall. Yeah.
Kill haul him, yeah. And the hold on, I think
And Judith was to hold the mast. I don't know for how long, but she was gonna hold the mast.
right. But Betsy put a stop to that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Butcher had just yelled at her. She was a little butthurt over that. And she when she promised Wilcox and Judith that she wouldn't let anything happen to them during this time, and Butcher took it upon himself to basically have Wilcox killed and Judith to hold the mast. So Betsy, she's nearly bleeding like a stuffed pig at this point, and she collects herself and she takes herself up there, bleeding and all. She cut Judith from the mast. No one stopped her. I think everybody was afraid to stop her, to be honest with you.
Well, she was
But
bleeding all
when,
over the place at the time.
yeah, they were terrified of that. And then she went to go approach Wilcox to do the same for him. But Hyoda, is that how you say it?
Hoda?
Hoda?
Yeah.
Hoda? Okay. He told her that she would not take another step toward him and that he would not listen to her because he is loyal to his captain. He's never taken any authority, like any, what is it? I don't know what the word I was going to say. It was like something authority, but yeah, he never listened to her. It was only Butcher he would listen to.
Right, and that's because
And
Hoda's a loyalist on the ship, right?
yes,
He's completely and
yes,
100% dedicated to the captain, or at least he was up until this new drama.
yeah. Um, so Betsy, she walked in the cabin. She's like, well, I will convince the captain. So she went in there and he pulled a pistol on her. She was a little surprised, but she took it from him. He let it go. She didn't doubt for a minute, though, that he would shoot her. But he let it go, and then the two of them, I believe, went at it again, yelling at each other again.
Yeah, they really do have a dysfunctional and broken relationship. Though they always
Well, it
have,
was,
right?
yeah, it was built off of, she was kidnapped. However, she didn't fully see it as a kidnapping. He saved her from a life that she knew she didn't want.
And
But she didn't necessarily want this one either.
during the downtime where Betsy was in recovery, that led to Izzy, one of the Scarlets that had been introduced to the ship, coming on to Butcher. And that ultimately led to Betsy making some pretty dramatic decisions, which surprised me a little bit. Tell us about that.
Well, um, Butcher wasn't happy about Izzy, and he came down and spoke with Betsy about it, and told her that she needs to basically get them back in line. And she did so. Judith told her that she should rest and that Judith would take care of it, but Betsy just didn't want to. It was her job. She would do it. So whenever she questioned the Scarlets, which one it was that had visited Butcher, she had an idea who it was, but she wanted that person to tell her, but no one spoke up. So she punished them all as a whole by taking away their private time, which was like 6 hours, I believe. And she lowered it to 4, basically working them like a dog throughout the whole night, giving them more chores, more time in the what are those called? The bedrooms, I guess.
Right, the
I
Scarlet
guess.
Quarters.
Yeah, the Scarlet Quarters. Yeah, she worked them like a dog, basically.
More time on their back to be having to deal with all these guys constantly.
Yeah, and about it was like a couple days after that, Izzy finally came in and admitted that it was her that did it.
And she went a step further in her admittance and lied about how far she went with Butcher, right?
Yeah, Butcher didn't exactly tell her what happened between him and this Scarlet. So Betsy's mind was just swarming with all these ideas that could have happened, and she just wanted some answers. But Izzy was like, "Oh, we went all the way. Basically, he's so great." She was doing this to piss off Betsy. She kind of knew what she was doing, but I don't think she expected the consequence of that, because it really pissed Betsy off, and she came up and she grabbed a scalpel from the table, and she used that scalpel to cut Izzy's mouth from the corner up, giving her like a crooked type, like extended smile almost. I don't know what you would call that,
The Joker
but she
smile,
gave.
but
Yeah,
only
the
on one
Joker
side.
smile. Only on one side though. Yeah, she was pissed.
And this led to one of another, like, just nasty death, which is where Butcher found out that she had lied, used him in a plot, and started up her harlot behaviors, which one of the rules of being a Scarlet is that that kind of stuff was disallowed. That harlots and strumpets, they couldn't be like they are on land. They just had to accept things as they were and not play these little mind games and try to fish out information. And Izzy had used Butcher in a plot, and as a result, Butcher hung her as the figurehead for the Bloody Bones and left her there until she died.
I'm pretty certain she's still hanging from there. I don't think
No, he
I
had to
don't
pull
think
her
she makes
down
it down.
during the ship battle, which is what we were about to get to, which
Mm.
was, they went through several days, and then they ran into some other issues, which included a ship battle, right? What are some things that happened between Izzy's being hung and the ship battle that you would want to talk about?
Well, I have to catch up. We wrote a lot since then. Let's see. Oh, I'm pretty sure. Did I just read that? Oh, yes. So, they, Betsy had followed Butcher inside the cabin because he went in. And the two of them had like it was actually a calm conversation for once. They weren't actually yelling. Well, at the beginning they were yelling, but they calmed each other down because they had a few drinks and they just kind of like laughed it off, I guess. Um, and then in between this, Betsy, she just popped off with "Marry Me," Thomas, which I think took him by surprise.
Right, it did. The marriage was an unexpected thing because, you know, he's a pirate, and the only pirate that's really well known for their marriage, aside from Jack, was, you know, Blackbeard. And his history with women was not a good one. So,
That's true.
all right.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing between them was her asking him to marry her. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up.
It's all right.
But yeah, and then it was the big ship battle
Right.
that was next.
And in that ship battle, a few things happened, right?
Well, um, for one, Betsy was assuming that she would be taken below with the rest of the Scarlets, but she actually wasn't. Um, Butcher told her to fight with him for once and have her guards ready as well, which she only selected two of the guards out of. She left the other two down below just in case they needed them down there. But she had Max with her, which is the female guard, the only female guard. And then, which one was the other one? I don't remember the other one. But, and then Butcher wanted her to, what was it that he wanted her to do? He requested that she look more like, was it hostages?
Right. The
Or,
the original goal was to make her look like a hostage on the ship, or at least not even a hostage, just a woman on the ship, so that they wouldn't be considered pirates, because no pirate would have a woman on the ship. But Betsy either misunderstood this or took it in her own direction and made herself look like a hostage, which didn't work out very well because they were flying the Alfred Wright. They were flying the family crest of the Whites, of the Wrights, and
uh,
the whole ship
yeah,
was designed and set up to track and destroy the Bloody Bones.
well, not destroy, hunt it down at least, because he knew that she would. The Alfred crest, which is, or the Alfred Wright crest, that was Betsy's father's, one of his fleet, one of the ships from his fleet that he had sent to navigate the seas in search of the Bloody Bones.
One of
Betsy
several
had,
ships that are out there looking
yeah,
for it.
yeah. Um, Betsy saw that from a crow's nest. She had never climbed up to the crow's nest before, and Butcher had wanted her to climb up there, and she did, and that's where she saw it from. And she saw it was the flag, and she told Butcher, she's like, I made a mistake, and he had asked her what was it that she had done, and she said that she had wrote a letter way back when Anna committed suicide, and she wrote a letter to the Odoms, which were Anna's parents. She felt that her parents needed to know that she was dead, and
Which we
they took
discussed in
this
a
letter.
previous video if you guys are interested in finding out who that is.
Yeah, they took that letter to Alfred, and then Alfred was like, "Oh, his daughter's alive," and that's what pushed him to search the seas for her, or at least toward America. There was ships everywhere, at all the ports, on the sea, on the routes and on the main routes and stuff.
Right?
There was that.
And this battle
Richard.
was not quite as complicated as the original battle that I set up, but there was a lot of damage done to the Bloody Bones ship. They fired almost point blank. They fought to the death. Butcher was wounded pretty badly. He took a wound across his leg, one across the top of his chest, and he also took a sword from the back that came out the front of his stomachal area, of his lower stomach area. and it kind of incapacitated him, which gave Betsy the chance to make her first real kill.
She did. She didn't know what she was doing. She had never been in any type of engagement, whether it be on land. She's always just seen the after effects of it. She's never been involved, but she'd been training. So she knew kind of what to do. So Butcher had told her to swing from the pulley ropes from the to the from his ship to the other ship. It would get her over there faster. So she did, and she didn't make it. She was a rifle had been fired off, and it had snipped the rope, and she fell into the water below. So she had to swim around. She couldn't even swim that well, so she was kind of just basically just using the I think it was called the Osprey. I'm not sure. I think that's what I called it. So she was basically just crawling her way around, and then when she found some like a ladder, she climbed up from there.